All right, good morning, everybody, and good to be on with you today on this Monday. Welcome to another week here in November. We're in the middle of November here. We had just have come out of Veterans Day weekend, if you will, and then also I think this week, well, not I think, but this week also is opening day of rifle season as well. I believe that's Wednesday, and exciting times here in Michigan. Man, we had a good weekend this past weekend. Good time in church yesterday as well, and always good to be in the Lord's house. We're going to go ahead and get to Revelation chapter number 8. Revelation chapter number 8. So hit that share button really quick so that others can know that we are on and ready to go. So hit that share button real quick, and then be sure and comment throughout our power up here this morning. We're going to be in Revelation chapter 8 and verse number 1. Revelation 8 and verse number 1, where the Bible says, when he had opened the seventh seal, there was silence in heaven about the space of a half hour. And I saw seven angels were stood before God, and to them were given seven trumpets. And so as this seventh seal is opened, we noted the first six seals being opened in the previous two chapters, and we have this seventh seal being opened. And this seventh seal, it seems to indicate that, yes, there's silence for about a half hour. There's this we might associate with maybe the calm before the storm kind of thing. And the seventh seal begins with the space of silence for a half hour, and then it kicks off the trumpet judgments. And so within this seventh seal are the seven trumpet judgments, and there's seven angels getting ready to sound these seven trumpets. Look at verse number 3. And another angel came and stood at the altar, having a golden censer. And there was given unto him much incense, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints upon the golden altar which was before the throne. And the smoke of the incensers came with the prayers of the saints ascended up before God out of the angel's hand. And this might be a reference back to the martyrs that were crying out. I want to take you back there, the fifth seal. So go to Revelation chapter number 6. So this might be, in Revelation chapter 8, this might be a response to what has gone on here in chapter number 6. And note with me verse number 9. And when he had opened the fifth seal, I saw under the altar the souls of them that were slain for the word of God, for the testimony which they held. And they cried with a loud voice, saying, how long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? And so we see these martyrs for the faith, these believers crying out, their blood crying out, how long until our blood is avenged? And then we see here this incense, they're at the altar in verse number 3 of chapter number 8, that he should offer it with the prayers of all the saints before the golden altar which was before the throne. And we note that in verse number 4 also we see the prayers of the saints ascended up to God, before God out of the angel's hand. And we note this potentially being this time where God avenges the blood of the saints. I don't know if we can necessarily know for sure, but that's what it would seem to indicate. And then we get to verse number 5. And the angel took the censer, and filled it with fire of the altar, and cast it into the earth. There were voices and thunderings and lightnings and an earthquake. And so this censer is cast to the earth, indicating the judgment that is coming, the fire being that judgment. And we note following that casting of the censer upon the earth, there are voices, thunderings, lightnings, and another earthquake upon the earth. And then we get into the trumpet judgments, exactly what they are. Let's read them together. And the seven angels in verse number 6, and the seven angels which had the seven trumpets prepared themselves to sound. And so they're ready to go, and the first angel sounded. And there followed hail and fire mingled with blood, and they were cast upon the earth, and a third part of the trees was burnt up, and all the green grass was burnt up. And so this trumpet sounds, and you consider a third of the trees and all the grass being burnt up. This is catastrophic what is going on here, and we've noted maybe in recent years the wildfires and the forest fires, even in Canada this past year. And it's incredible how that's just kind of died out. Out when I lived out west, we would have wildfires quite often. But to think that a third of the trees being burnt up, it's pretty significant. And the hail and fire mingled with blood, also coming upon the earth. Verse number 8, we see that second one. And the second angel sounded, and as it were, a great mountain burning with fire was cast into the sea, and the third part of the sea became blood. And so this great mountain may be a comet, maybe a meteor that comes crashing into the earth and lands into the sea. And it says, and the third part of the sea became blood as well. And you think about what goes along with that, verse number 9. If you got a third of the sea being turned to the blood, verse number 9, and the third part of the creatures which were in the sea and had life died, and the third part of the ships were destroyed. And so with the destruction, with the third part of the waters being turned to blood, there's also much death and destruction. And so just think of the rotting carcasses, the blood, all of that, just how the stench, the smell that would come along with the rot and with the decay. And so pretty incredible time as well. Verse number 10, and the third angel sounded, and there fell a great star from heaven, burning as it were a lamp. And it fell upon the third part of the rivers and upon the fountains of waters. And the name of the star is called Wormwood, and the third part of the waters became wormwood, and many died of the waters because they were made bitter. And so this star falls, comes crashing down, and this star, it touches the fresh water, the drinkable water, and it says it's called wormwood, became bitter. It's really become poison, and many men died because of the waters, because they drank the waters. It was poison, and it killed them, and pretty remarkable there. And then we continue in verse number 12, and the fourth angel sounded, and the third part of the sound was smitten, and the third part of the moon and the third part of the stars, so as the third part of them was darkened, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and the night likewise. And I beheld. So let's digest that verse in verse number 12. It says, and the third part of the sun was smitten, the third part of the moon, the third part of the stars darkened, and so whether it was a third, a literal chunk, a third of the sun, a literal third of the moon, a literal third of the stars, really, for lack of a better term, just being turned off, or it might seem to indicate that the sun, the moon, and the stars, they were dimmed to a third of their light potentially as well. And so there's maybe a little bit of question about that. And it says there, and the day shone not for a third part of it, and had no light. And so, well, was it dimmed? Is it a third less time, a third less light? I would tend to believe that it would be a third of the day, or there is no light, and that's what I would tend to believe, rather than a dimming of the bodies of light. And then verse number 13, and I beheld and heard an angel flying through the midst of heaven, saying with a loud voice, Woe, woe, woe to the inhabitants of the earth, by reason of the other voice of the trumpet of the three angels which are yet to sound. And so this angel is flying through heaven crying, Woe, woe, woe. And that would seem to indicate that, yes, these first four trumpets that sounded were bad and horrible, but the remaining trumpet judgments are going to be horrific. And there's an increase in the intensity of these judgments. And so we see that space in heaven, that time of silence in heaven, which would indicate maybe the calm before the storm. And then in rapid succession, we have these trumpet judgments, boom, 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 sounding off. And the latter three are going to be are going to be worse than the first four. And what a horrible time to be on the face of the earth. We see the signs of the times. We would see that it looks like the time of the tribulation is drawing near, and it may be. But we are not currently in it, for we have not been raptured out and of the earth. And so the rapture indicates the beginning of the tribulation. And so I would encourage you, don't live in fear of the tribulation, but rather let's live in confidence of our salvation, confidence of the rapture of the church, and the confidence, not really the confidence, but also the mission that we have to be a light in our world, a light in our community, a testimony of Jesus' love. And so let's live every day for Jesus Christ. And we're going to end there at the end of chapter number 8. We'll get into chapter number 9 and look at these next 3 trumpet judgments tomorrow. Okay? Let's welcome those who have commented live. Several of you have commented, and thank you so much for doing so. Cliff and Karen, good morning to you. Hope that you guys have a great day today. Brian and Cindy, good morning to you both as well. Hope you guys have an awesome day. Ingrid, good morning to you. Love you and have a great day. Jean, good to have you on this morning. Good morning to you, and you have an awesome day. John, greetings to you in India. Thank you for watching. Hope the Power Up has been an encouragement to you. And Dennis and Geraldine, good morning to you both. Thank you so much for being on today. All right, have a good day, everybody. We'll touch base again tomorrow at 7:30. Talk to you soon.